Glenn Greenwald, Pulitzer Prize winning journalist, joins me now. Do you feel it, Glenn?
Oh, for sure. You can feel the power shifting from these older power centers like news networks and even some of these mass media outlets who used to have the capacity when they united to instantly destroy somebody, to demand their deplatforming and have it done overnight.
And then they're also falling because of these woke rules that they themselves used. You know, they're getting Me Too'd, they're getting canceled, they're canceling themselves. It's silliness now. There's no sense of forgiveness. Do you think that they can recover? I don't see them ever coming back.
No, I think, first of all, they way overplay their hand. People see that they're on this kind of orgy, like this obsession to censor not just the occasional voice any longer, like an Alex Jones here or Milo Yiannopoulos there, but every day there's a new person that needs to be silenced. And I think the American public instinctively finds that repellent. And then I think you're also right that the rules that they've created that they wanted to impose on others are now ensnaring themselves.
Okay, there's a lot of layers to unpack here in everything that Glenn Greenwald said here on Fox News. First and foremost, I want to be clear when it comes to canceling, the rules that are being set right now aren't even really rules. They're very basic entry-level requests from working class people and marginalized people just for a shred of human decency. I can tell you this, as somebody that is trans, the representation of trans people in the media has been so viciously terrible up until even literally today that you can't hardly get through an average song, television show, or movie without some sort of transphobic comment. This isn't rules that were put in place by the media, which goes into the next point. There were rules in place by the media. The media actually had a long history of covering up things like sexual assault and sexual harassment that happened among high-level political figures and people working within the media. And they used to actually be very effective at canceling people. Remember people like Noam Chomsky getting banned from the New York Times? Which is why, in some sense, one of the first things that Glenn Greenwald said was true.
Oh, for sure. You can feel the power shifting from these older power centers like news networks and even some of these mass media outlets who used to have the capacity when they united to instantly destroy somebody, to demand their deplatforming and have it done overnight.
Yeah, the giant media organizations are having a hard time canceling people right now. And the reason that is because people actually can establish their own platforms on things like social media and YouTube, etc. So the discourse about what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable is less in the hands of incredibly wealthy individuals and now more democratic. And Glenn Greenwald seems to be upset by this, the idea that there's some sort of popular front against COVID misinformation. But Fox News here trying to pretend that it's other media organizations that are busy canceling people is just a complete ridiculous notion that fails to reflect the entire history of Fox News. I mean, seriously, Fox News actively targets individuals. One of their main forms of content is picking some new sort of villain and hyper-focusing on them and trying to get their audience to go after that person. I mean, do you remember Bill O'Reilly when he called that doctor at a Planned Parenthood a, quote, baby killer? And he did so for days and days? And that'll just so happen to coincide with an increase in violence towards Planned Parenthood. Now look at today, and you see that the favorite enemy of Fox News really seems to be trans folks. And what do you see? You see 2021 was one of the worst years for violence against trans folks. If anybody is out there to try to cancel anybody, it's definitely Fox News. And Glenn Greenwald is included in that. Because what does Glenn Greenwald do? Glenn Greenwald gives cover to people under the guise of free speech to say some of the most vile and hateful things. You know, the people who are actually trying to cancel other people, the people who are trying to criminalize the existence of trans people, the people who are trying to criminalize teaching critical race theory, the people who are trying to ban books that are just saying that Nazis are bad from public schools. Glenn Greenwald says he cares about free speech, but defends all of those people by coming on Fox News and blaming the woke mob that is regular people on Twitter being fed up with how racist and capitalist the media has been for its entire existence in the United States. It turns out that a system where most of the media is owned by giant corporations isn't that great because they tend to serve the interests of giant corporations. Who would have thought? And so Glenn Greenwald really fails to see that Fox News and MSNBC are two parts of the same animal. They are both giant corporations that are there to serve the interests of giant corporations. And so what he sees as, oh, these leftist news outlets getting taken down by their own woke rules is in actuality regular working class people being able to speak up on platforms like Twitter and say, hey, I don't like it when you're racist either. I don't like it when you're sexist either. And calling out not just Fox News, but also other media outlets for their terrible representation of people in the media.
This is Ben Carollo with Rebel Headquarters. You can catch my show Galaxy Brain on the Young Turks Twitch channel every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to stay up to date with my content, you can follow me at Benjamin Carollo on Twitter. And for those of you that might be wondering or have noticed, my pronouns are in fact she, her.